With a slowdown in the global economy, slowdown being a nice term for being just stopped in your tracks, shipping is an area that has just gotten slaughtered. It'll burn your eyes, but if you look at the Baltic Dry Index, which measures the price of shipping raw materials like iron ore and grain, it's fallen from 11,709 on May 19th. The last time I talked about the shippers, 93% decline. All right. Now, that just measures dry bulk shipping. It's not been what we've been pushing here. It's not directly related to the stock I want to talk about either, which is the last holdout of the group I want to buy, Nordic American Tanker, NAT, which, as you can guess, is an oil tanker play. But the tanker business hasn't been so hot either. With rates for Suezmax-sized tankers, they're medium-sized tankers that can get through the Suez Canal, down 44% since I first recommended Nordic American on May 8th. The stock at that point was at $36.64. Stock's down 16% since then, or down 10% when you include dividends. These tanker stocks tend to live to their really react to their shareholders, and they pay high yields. They're not growth companies. They're almost pure income plays. Now, I like Nordic American Tankers right now. It reported a strong, better-than-expected quarter last Friday. You may have seen the company on Squawk on the Street. Now, when I recommend a tanker stock, you have to understand that the price of crude is only indirectly related to how much money these tanker companies make. So just because oil prices have gone through the floor, sell, that doesn't directly affect what the tanker companies can make. What determines tanker prices is the supply and demand for tankers, for the ships themselves. It comes down to the number of ships that are out there. Why, then, do we like Nordic American Tanker? It's got 12 Suezmax tankers, and day rates for these are about $60,000, which is actually more than the much bigger, very large crude carriers are getting in the Middle East. Their day rates are about $40,000. So Nordic American has the right ships for this environment. It has no downtime on its existing vessels until 2010, so they'll always be at work. And it has another 2 additional Suezmax tankers that should be finished in late 2009 or early 2010. And it has the financing available to fund both ships with a credit facility that doesn't mature until 2013. Nordic American, low-cost operator. Break even if rates are at $9,000 a day. Can you imagine? Their competitors need rates to be about twice that to break even. So if ever there was a tanker stock built to withstand a downturn, this one is it. Pristine balance sheet, no debt at the moment, no interest payments eating to earnings, unlike many of its tanker competitors. It's expected to pay an annual dividend of $3.06 in 2009. This price implies a 9.9% yield. That means, using the rule of 72, that even if Nordic American Tanker's share price does nothing, you'll double your money in about 7 years, as long as you reinvest your dividend in the stock and the payout remains the same. I like the yield, which is essential in this market. I think Nordic American Tanker is really one of the better operators out there that can survive in a really tough shipping environment. That's why I want to talk to the CEO, who is one of my favorites, sends out fabulous letters about what his company's up to, is by far the visionary in this group, and his name is Herbjorn Hansen. He will explain to you the way this business works and why his company is different from all the rest. Mr. Hansen, welcome back to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim. I'm talking to you from the eastern coast of Norway.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you sound clear and good. And one of the things that I've been emphasizing that you have taught me, Herbjorn, with your excellent letters and listening to your interviews, is that not all tanker companies are created equally. Tell me why your tanker company has more going for it than others when things get tough.
Because we have the strongest balance sheet in the industry. When the others have water up to their cheek, we are barely wet on our toe. We have paid dividend for 11 years, 45 consecutive quarters, and every year 12%. And we have no debt, Jim. And when you have no debt, nobody can take you down.
Okay, one of the things that we have been skeptical of, say, in the banking industry, is it seems like every single bank, with the exception of Hudson City Savings Bank, screwed up and made a lot of loans to people who shouldn't do it. What is it about your industry that everyone got so levered up, they borrowed so much money, and why did you see it coming?
Because I've learned, having been in the industry since the early 1970s, that if a person borrows too much, if a company borrows too much, if a country borrows too much, you get in trouble. I'm extremely conservative, Jim, because business is a kind of two things. Firstly, you must produce the best results, and secondly, you must be much better than your competitors. And therefore, I shall be continuing my conservative way of doing business, and I shall continue to pay dividend.
All right, Herbjorn, one of the things that I've been seeing in the papers is that a lot of companies that wanted to build more tankers are out of money. Some are forfeiting their deposits. What does it mean for you if the other tankers don't get built and the other guys go belly up?
That will strengthen us in two ways. Firstly, I may take advantage of that situation, that somebody would be coming to me and ask me to buy their tankers at very depressed prices because they're up in a corner. And secondly, our position is strengthened competitively because we are much, much, much stronger than the rest.
What are you doing to manage your vessel operating expenses? They seem to be ticking up a little bit, but your expenses are certainly better than everybody else's.
When we have our expenses altogether, our cash break-even is about $9,000 a day. If the market is about $9,000 a day, we pay our dividend, and at this time the market is between $40,000 and $50,000 a day. And what we have seen all around the world, that costs have increased somewhat. They have increased about $1,000 to $1,500 a day during the last 2 years, increasing from $7,500 and up to $9,000 a day. But these are small money in relation to what we're talking about, Jim.
Absolutely. Herbjorn Hansen, you are the only guy, you are my Ron Hermance, who happens to be the CEO of Hudson City Savings Bank, the guy who got it right. Thank you for making people who watch our show so much money. You've done a great job. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, Jim. Bye now.
All right. Now, NAT is now the only one I'm going to recommend. That's it. Okay, you call me, just like I only have a couple of banks I like. From now on, you call me all these other tanker companies, I'm sending you to NAT. The others are just too dangerous. After the break, I'll try to make even more money.